Philosophy is born of the marriage of two Greek words, philos and sophia. Philos is one of ancient Greek's many words for love, while sophia is the Greek word for wisdom. And so philosophy was originally, and for many of us perennially, about the love of wisdom. There's been much ink spilled on this question of wisdom over the years, on what it is and how to attain it. In his work Recapture the Rapture, Jamie Wheal identifies a distinction between two alternative paths to wisdom that I find particularly useful for navigating this landscape: ekstasis and catharsis. Ekstasis is a Greek word meaning to stand outside oneself. It is the etymological mother of our English words ecstasy and ecstatic. The word ekstasis points to the experience of insight. It is a moment of total immersion in being. Your inner critic goes quiet and you are dissolved in a state of awe and wonder when everything seems to click. It can be fruitfully connected to the Greek word kairos, which is one of ancient Greek's two words for time. Their other word for time is the more familiar word chronos, from which we get terms like chronic, chronology, and chronicles. Chronos is the measure of time by seconds, days, and millennia. But the great Franciscan friar Richard Rohr describes the alternative species of time, for which we have no English equivalent.
There was another word in Greek, kairos, and kairos was deep time. It was when you have those moments where you say, oh my God, this is it. I get it. Or this is as perfect as it can be. Or it doesn't get any better than this. Or this moment is summing up the last 5 years of my life. You know, things like that. Where time comes to a fullness and the dots connect.
Kairos isn't measured in seconds or minutes, but in moments. There's the mundane, quotidian, chronological time that we commonly live in, and then there is kairos, a space and time where all becomes clearer and everything crystallizes. These kairotic moments are moments of ekstasis. Another idea that brings us closer to the meaning of ekstasis is the term peak experience. And peak is the correct word here, because from the vantage point of such experiences, all the world seems clearer. You have a higher perspective, looking down on the vastness and grand scale of things, rather than getting lost in the thickets of mundanity as we do in everyday life. Mihai Csikszentmihalyi, the father of flow state research, has written that there are moments that stand out from the chaos of every day as shining beacons. In many ways, one might say that the whole effort of humankind through millennia of history has been to capture these fleeting moments of fulfillment and make them a part of everyday existence. We seek ekstasis because it is transformative. In our everyday lives, we are busy climbing the ladder. In ekstasis, we see that despite the great heights we've attained, the ladder we have been scaling is up against the wrong wall. Seeing the whole gives the parts meaning, gives the everyday meaning. It sounds like a delightful experience on paper, but as Gordon Wasson has explained, it's not an addictive sort of experience. In common parlance among the many who have not experienced ecstasy, ecstasy is fun, and I am frequently asked why I do not reach for mushrooms every night. But ecstasy is not fun. Your very soul is seized and shaken until it tingles. After all, who will choose to feel undiluted awe, or to float through that door yonder into the divine presence? The unknowing vulgar abuse the word, and we must recapture its full and terrifying sense. A few hours later, the next morning, you are fit to go to work. But how unimportant work seems to you by comparison with the portentous happenings of the night. This is ekstasis. It is Muhammad on the mountain being overwhelmed with revelations of splendour, or Neo taking the red pill in the Matrix and having the horrors of reality revealed to him. The experience of ekstasis can be triggered in a whole host of different ways, from a terminal diagnosis to sex and psychedelics to music, dance, meditation and breathwork. Whatever the trigger, the results of ekstasis are the same. The experience of transcendence transforms. It changes your perspective on life. You can see further. You are looking out from a higher vantage point, and you cannot go back. If ekstasis is a going up, catharsis is a going down. It is not going to the mountain for a higher perspective. It is a descent into the depths of hell. Catharsis is the way of healing. It is the uncertain process of generating light in the deepest corners of the night. Catharsis is an ancient Greek word meaning purification or cleansing. It was first brought into the philosophical domain by Aristotle in his book Poetics. For him, it was about the power of art, speaking specifically about tragedy, to bring about a purification of our emotions. What we experience with tragedy is the cleansing of our emotions through their expression. It's not about becoming happy as with watching a comedy. It's about being cleansed by going on a journey into the heart of darkness. We identify with Oedipus as he uncovers the horrible truth of his life, and with Orestes as he kills his own mother in revenge for the murder of his father. We are torn apart by the cruelty of fate with King Lear and with Hamlet. In the sense that we are speaking of here, catharsis is not simply an artistic process, but a living transformation. This is compassion in its purest etymological sense of suffering with. The archetypal pattern of catharsis is captured in Dante's Divine Comedy and his journey into the depths of hell, descending its many layers and levels and arriving at its ultimate depths, passing every imaginable horror of torturous misery and suffering along the way. Dante's great revelation was that you don't escape hell by going back. At the end of the Inferno, Dante leaves hell by climbing down the leg of the devil himself. Dante has descended to the very core of the earth, and by climbing down/up this leg of Satan, he begins to rise out the other side and emerge into the dawn of purgatory, and finally the blinding lights of paradise. Dante's geography of suffering tells us that if we descend deep enough into the depths, we emerge into a light that is greater than anything we could have previously imagined. The lesson of the Divine Comedy and the lesson of catharsis itself is that paradise is not in the opposite direction to hell, but beyond it. It is only by going through hell that we are transformed. It is this philosophy of catharsis that runs like a red thread through Nietzsche's writings. It is this he is driving at when he writes in The Gay Science, "What if pleasure and displeasure were so tied together that whoever wanted to have as much as possible of one must also have as much as possible of the other? That whoever wanted to learn to jubilate up to the heavens would also have to be prepared for depression unto death. You have the choice, either as little displeasure as possible, painlessness in brief, or as much displeasure as possible as the price for the growth of an abundance of subtle pleasures and joys that have rarely been relished yet. If you decide for the former and desire to diminish and lower the level of human pain, you also have to diminish and lower the level of their capacity for joy." It is this Nietzschean cathartic philosophy that Viktor Frankl says was a life raft he could hold onto through his hellish journey through the concentration camps of the Nazis, with Nietzsche's maxim, "He who has a why can handle almost any how," as his guiding mantra. Ekstasis and catharsis are the two paths to wisdom. It doesn't take a death camp to reach catharsis any more than it takes psychedelics to reach ekstasis. These things happen naturally in the course of a life, in the moments of insight that crystallize in us, from the breakthroughs and meaning that we find in our darkest moments. The history of philosophy draws from both. Plato is perhaps the icon of ekstasis, while Nietzsche and Kierkegaard are exemplars of catharsis. Both paths proclaim philosophy's core etymological concern for loving wisdom. That's everything for this episode of The Living Philosophy. If you've enjoyed it, please give the video a thumbs up down below, and if you have any thoughts, insights or feedback, I'd love to hear from you down in the comments. Otherwise, I shall see you next time. Thank you for watching.